You ever meet people so drunk on their own power, they forget who actually owns what? That's the kind of trouble the Willow Pines HOA walked themselves into. They thought they could block the dirt road to my cabin, slap up a sign that said, "Private, HOA members only," and bully me off the land I've had in my family for 3 generations. What they didn't know, what they didn't bother to check, was that the only bridge connecting their community to the outside world. I own it. Yeah. They blocked my access road, and in doing so, cut off their own. So I shut the bridge down. Let them squirm. Watch their perfectly manicured kingdom crumble. Because sometimes, karma doesn't knock. Sometimes, it builds a toll booth. Let me take you back to how it all began. My name's Jack. I'm not flashy. I run a small woodworking business in the city and retreat up to my cabin on the weekends. Peace, quiet, trees. That cabin was my granddad's. Built it in the 1950s with his own 2 hands. It's tucked into the backwoods of Pine County, about 6 miles past the edge of a gated community called Willow Pines Estates. Willow Pines is one of those neighborhoods where everything's beige, the grass is all astroturf, and the people seem to think owning a $700,000 house gives them the right to act like royalty. They've got an HOA, the worst kind. One of those boards where nobody has a real job, but everybody thinks they're in charge. Now, my access road cuts straight through the edge of their neighborhood. It's been that way for decades. Long before the HOA even existed, my granddad had a right-of-way agreement with the county. The only way to reach the cabin by vehicle is to cross a small steel bridge over Blue Creek, and that bridge? It sits on land I own. Both sides of it. I maintain it. I pay taxes on it. It even has a deed in my name. But nobody in Willow Pine seemed to care about that. It started with a few complaints. First, it was an email. "We've noticed increased vehicle traffic through our community, please use an alternate route." I replied politely. Explained that there is no alternate route. That I have legal right-of-way, and that I've been using that road since long before their neighborhood was built. I didn't hear back for a while. Then came the letters. One said I was disturbing the tranquility of the neighborhood. Another claimed I was damaging their roads with my truck. One even accused me of suspicious activity because I drive an old Chevy with hunting stickers. All nonsense, but clearly someone on that HOA board didn't like the idea of a blue-collar cabin guy using their streets. So imagine my shock when I came up one weekend and found a metal gate welded across the dirt road. Right there, just past the last house. A giant, private road, and no through traffic sign bolted on top. No warning. No notice. I sat there for a moment in my truck, just staring. They actually did it. They really believed they could block the only access I had to my cabin, a legal, documented easement, just because they didn't like the look of me driving past their cookie-cutter houses. I turned around, drove home, and called my lawyer. He nearly choked laughing when I told him. "They really blocked you," he said. "They do realize you own the bridge, right?" That's when it hit me. They didn't know. They never asked. Never researched. Never checked the parcel maps or the county registry. They were so eager to shut me out, they didn't realize their entire community depended on my bridge to get in and out. You see, Willow Pines only has one road in, a narrow, 2-lane strip that crosses Blue Creek. The bridge over that creek is the one I inherited. It's technically on private property, deeded to my grandfather in 1961. The developers of Willow Pines got permission to pave over it and use it, but they never bought it. And that easement? It was revocable. So I revoked it. Filed the paperwork with the county the next day. Put up new signage, bridge closed indefinitely for private maintenance. I even hired a crew to install a bright yellow gate with a padlock, right at the bridge's entrance. Then I waited. Took about 3 hours. By noon the next day, my phone lit up. First it was some HOA board member, let's call her Karen, because of course it was. She demanded I reopen the bridge. Claimed I was holding the neighborhood hostage. I calmly explained that they had illegally blocked my access road, and since they didn't want to play fair, neither did I. She threatened to sue. I told her, go ahead. Just know that my lawyer is very familiar with the property lines, and your development literally can't flush a toilet without my bridge. That's when the panic started. Within days, Willow Pines turned into a disaster. People couldn't get out. Delivery trucks turned around. Uber drivers canceled rides. Mail was delayed. Trash piled up because the garbage trucks couldn't cross the creek. One resident tried to cut through the woods with his Tesla and got stuck in a ditch. Emergency services were the final straw. An ambulance got rerouted during a medical call. The HOA called an emergency meeting. Desperate. Embarrassed. And completely at my mercy. They sent me a letter. This one was very different from the last. It was polite. Respectful. Asked if we could negotiate terms to reopen the bridge. They were willing to apologize for the misunderstanding. I laughed so hard I nearly fell out of my chair. But I agreed to a meeting. At a local diner. No lawyers. Just me and 3 of their board members. They looked like they hadn't slept in days. Karen opened with an apology. Said they misjudged the situation and hoped we could move forward amicably. I told her I was willing to reopen the bridge under a few conditions. They pay for the repairs and repainting of the bridge. They remove their gate blocking my access road. They sign a formal agreement acknowledging my right of way, permanently, no debate. And, the best part, they pay a monthly fee for continued use of the bridge. I set the price at $500 per household. Karen's mouth fell open. That's extortion, she gasped. I just smiled. No. That's rent. For using private property. Just like you tried to charge me. They stormed out. 2 days later, they called back. They agreed to all terms, except the fee. So I kept the bridge closed. Within a week, residents started calling me directly. Some offered to pay the toll privately just to get to work. One guy offered to trade me season tickets to the Broncos. Another showed up with homemade pie and a petition signed by over 70% of the neighborhood asking the HOA to stop the madness. Eventually, the board caved. They agreed to all my terms, including the $500 per month per home fee. Do the math, 43 homes. That's $21,500 a month. To cross my bridge. Money that now goes into a trust set up for forest preservation and emergency road maintenance. And me? I got full, legal access to my family cabin, unbothered. No more signs. No more games. The best part? I built a sign of my own. Big, wooden, carved by hand. Sits right at the entrance of the bridge. It says, "This land respects those who respect it." And underneath, toll paid. Access granted. Funny thing is, they wave at me now when I drive by.